Artificial intelligence is rapidly making its way into the hiring process, promising to help employers identify better candidates, reduce hiring time, and improve decision making. But for many cleaning and restoration companies and organizations, separating genuine value from marketing hype can be difficult. The big question is, what can AI actually do? And that's the topic of the day with Wells Yee, who's been a diligent observer and worker to solve the hiring challenge by tapping into the power of AI. Wells, welcome back to the program.
I'm so glad to be back here to discuss this very important topic.
And it's very important because let me ask this before we get into our questions. Are you seeing some hope for the ongoing hiring dilemma, or is it still a challenge?
I see hope. It depends on a lot of time, depending on the job, on how we recruit, such as today's topic too, applicants are using AI and we must as well. But then we also have to know how and what the best way. So thank you for raise this topic.
Well, let's get right into it then. Some specific questions for you. Here's one. There's a lot of excitement and confusion around AI and hiring. At a practical level, Wells, what can AI actually do today?
So AI can do really three big things. The first one is increase our efficiency, reduce time to handle certain tasks, such as scheduling, automated follow-up, and so on. Second one is analytics. And so analytics, AI can do a lot faster, more accurate, more timely. That's very helpful to us when we recruit because we know what actually going on, like how many people failed at a certain stage and why can be very valuable to us. The third one is the most challenging one, but also most powerful one. That is prediction. AI can help us to analyzing and predict outcome in a way that has a lot more validity if we do it correctly. So we are talking about three areas: efficiency, analytics, and the prediction.
Okay, my next question might put you in a corner a little bit. What doesn't AI do that some might think it does?
Great. That's a great question. This is I also um, observed a lot of misunderstanding about this, about what AI does and what AI do not do, especially in this recruiting context. So maybe I will share one slides with you. What you see here is that what AI can, here one column said AI can do this and AI cannot do this. So the biggest misunderstanding to me, Jeff, is the first one. If we have a bad job offer, if we are underpaying people and so on, post using AI, however you use that, maybe you can make the job description better and so on, will not do too much to help us because AI will not be able to change that, right? Second one is identify what to evaluate for a cleaner job. And generically, yes, we'll need a trust, physical work, but lots of hiring relate to the job specific, company specific information, our own culture, our own operating perimeters, operating requirement, what we particularly desire, what this particular facility or job, cleaning job requires. AI will not know. So we know that better. And it cannot replace true human connection, right? It can go faster, can be warm and fuzzy, but the real human connection, people can still smell that miles away. And it cannot remove no shows due to poor job offer. That's come back. You can see multiple things related to job offer. And so basically, if you look through this list, what it does is that it can do faster, more efficient. But if our system, our process, our job offer, our recruiting process, are good, it empower it, make it highly effective. So therefore, for your first question, do we have hope? We do because of that. But on the other flip side of this, if our job offer, we're underpaying people and our management, training is isolated, and we are not there to support them after hiring all these process, can make the not so good process magnify its negative impact. So so AI is limited in certain things, and the AI can empower us. AI can also make things worse.
Wells, those were great. I love that first one because it's human nature to make things sound better than they really are. And if AI can't do that, I call that honesty. So I like that. Very good. All right. So my next question, you've served as a cleaning company owner and you're a co-founder of Employee Joy AI. What concerns, if any, do you have about fairness, bias, transparency when companies take this route, when they begin relying on AI to screen candidates, if any of those concerns are yours?
Yeah. So that's a great question because it's based on the application sophistication. For example, when we talk about AI, automated scheduling, reading resumes, giving some insights about what that resume is talking about, and and follow up automatically. These applications are relatively easy to do, all right? But when you get into the prediction and the part, indeed, it's a very big issue. How you train your model. Do you use industry specific data? Have you been have a good governance on what you are using? So all these become very vital. So therefore, for me, I founded EmployeeJoy.ai, but I'm also have to become, I decided I want to become an independent AI and automated systems auditor because I really want to understand that get into this fairness, right? So that's needed additional training, additional understanding about the testing, governance, and disclosure. And so some of these are between legal expertise versus AI expertise, because we know the regulation potential will come more and more. Okay, so therefore, if we look at these three applications of AI, efficiency, and the analytics and the prediction. The first two are relatively easy to deal with. And that's still require disclosure, require testing to make sure they are accurate. Even just a resume scanner to summarize the resume's key point, for example, work history and so on. And it still require testing to make sure the AI tool is done it properly, right? So these are relatively easier, but when we go to the real power of AI in prediction, then we really have to get into certain deep expertise to do that. So for individual company to develop that is possible, but that's why we feel that employee may possibly fill that gap.
Thank you, Wells. All right. I think that's all my questions, but I think you have a little more to share. Any final words of advice for those looking to embrace this, to tap into the power of AI for hiring? Because as you said, there's hope, but it's still a challenge.
Yes, so I want to share a couple of things quickly with you. So this is I would really want to share, just extending your question about what is the best practice here, right? We talk about AI can save time. And so, for example, scoring interviews, not only save time, but actually do a little bit more accurately than human. Because when we do interview, we have lots of influence visually, sound, the other person, we see a lot. So that impact us, potentially trigger bias. But AI often just use transcript, focus on that, right? Then interview scheduling, we talk about the automated candidate reminders, must-haves, in requirements. Okay. Then we also talk about here we get into some prediction space. So if it's automated, it's a danger. So that's what we listed. But if it's not automated, if it's give us advice, point out to us analytically, tell us strengths, weakness, so we can make a better decision. These can be very powerful tools to do that. right? So this is just a quick summary about what AI, the typical tasks AI can help and where they can help, where they shouldn't help. Automated decision making is one area we really want to stay away from that. Then we also want to really talk about, so what kind of AI practice relate to legal risk? For example, black box auto rejection, we talk about that. It's very legally risk is very high. Emotional scoring, okay, automatically evaluating that's not good. Screening by zip code, commute distance, usually is very high, but in our industry, commuting is a basic requirement of the job. I would say that not part of that in our industry, right? But by zip code is a major higher risk. Then you get some lower risk areas. We can use AI like scheduling, must-have screening, prediction, hiring, which will test the AI model with specific data, with human oversight. Okay, decision. Okay, still made by human. These will be a much better kind of AI practice in our recruiting industry. Finally, so we know this is actually the most important part about AI is that if we look at a different hiring methodology, Jeff, right? People can just use reference check. They either use resume, years of experience to determine who is the best fit for their jobs. Unstructured interview, you can see all these validity are very low. This is very well researched by Schmidt, O, and Schaefer, 2016 research. They look at tons of data. But when we do structured interview alone, the validity become better, a lot better. When we add work sample, it's get to the 0.63%. Now, if you add AI using data to really make these decisions, the validity can go to 70, 80%. So obviously, this is older research. AI application is relatively new. We don't have tons of data, but the direction is very clear. When you use AI to evaluating candidates systematically, you get a better hiring decisions. So that will be potentially the best benefit for AI recruiting. But that's also require more sophisticated system to support that.
Good stuff. So if anyone has questions, they can reach out to you directly.
So my company is employjoy.ai. So we actually provide a free cleaner retention survey. Take 3 minutes. I welcome everyone to go to there to fill it out. It's a complimentary service. We will do the data based on your local area, the information and data compare with your competition directly in your local area, provide you the assessment.